Good morning. Still morning on a Monday. I wouldn't know because I've been up since dawn, so it feels like tomorrow. But hello, good morning. I am fighting the rain and fighting the weather and trying to get all 84 birds taken care of. I have 8 ducks in the bathtub. I got 16 babies in the brooder, and I got 72 chickens. No. Yeah. 72 chickens roaming around the backyard. And 4 turkeys. It's a lot. It's a lot. Here at 5 Gate Farm, it's a lot. And I was actually thinking about what I would do to make this an Airbnb. Like, what if you could come and pet chickens and hang out with turkeys and gather eggs and write country songs for the weekend? Like, wouldn't that be a fun Airbnb? But the only thing that concerns me is that I have a big Trump Vance sign on my house. Who I voted for, who I supported. They're our current sitting administration. I consider that patriotic. I say all this to say this, okay? There is a beautiful, beautiful Airbnb in Lexington, North Carolina called the Outskirts of Heaven Farm, okay? Also big Trump supporters like I am. And because out on their front yard or side yard or in somewhere in their yard on this big, huge farm, there's a Trump Vance sign. People are canceling their reservations. Imagine if we'd had that same mentality as Republicans when Biden was in administration. We'd been called racist, bigots, misogynist, haters. Everything that you're calling Donald Trump right now is what you would accused us of if you had a Biden sign on your yard. You see the hypocrisy, right? So I cannot understand for the life of me why you're trying to cancel somebody else's business that has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Unless you're booking to stay in that particular place. If you're not spending no money there, shut the hell up. If you're canceling your reservations because I don't like their political affiliations, well, hell, if that was the way that I acted, nobody'd be at my damn shows. Got plenty of liberals like my music. Don't mean that I'm preaching at them from the stage. If you like my music, great. If you agree with me politically, awesome. We can talk about it after the show. If you use my private political affiliation for a current sitting president that's won not once, but twice, and has been the most successful president since Teddy Roosevelt in his first year of presidency, you need to pack your shit. That Airbnb ain't your problem. This whole country is your problem. Your conscience is your problem. Your hatred towards your fellow man for having a different opinion than you is the problem. You listening? Because I'm about to act my maiden name on this one, all right? Y'all blow my ever-loving mind. We give away cell phones and food and clothes and college educations to anybody coming across the damn border. But somebody who voted for the man that's literally running your country, you got nothing for? Anywhere else in the whole wide world, that's called treason. Look it up. Look it up. Treason. Turncoats. Backsliders. Bottom feeders. Use whatever word that you associate yourself with when you look in the mirror and feel all this hate in your heart for the man sitting 1,700 miles away in an office that don't know your fucking name. Please use that as your entire basis for living. Use that voice that the Lord has given you, the platform that you have, the neighborhood that you're a part of, to show your ass. So we know exactly who not to invite to the barbecues, who not to ask to come to trick or treat, who not to send a Christmas card to. Just go ahead and put on the door, I hate everybody and everything. I'm not an asshole, I just wanted to let y'all know. Really? If you have that much hate in your heart for our own country, and the people that are trying to run it, then Zelensky's waiting for you to show up. Castro would have loved you. Hitler would have loved to have you on his team. Because you are a traitor. You are a traitor. You should be tarred and feathered and tried for espionage because you are a traitor. If you can't shut your mouth long enough and keep your peace for the next 3.5 years like we just did with Bumba Joe, If you can't be a grown-up and realize that we have all 3.5 more years of this before you can vote for somebody else. You got through college. We didn't all like everybody in college. We didn't like all the parties. We didn't like the administration. We didn't like the classes we were taking. We didn't like the town that we were in. We still went to college. Still did it. Still paid to go. Still was there for 4 years, whether I liked Chuck Shear sitting on the friggin' bench or I liked John Brown sitting on the bench. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because I was still a member of that community until I had to leave. Till I graduated and said, I'm going out into the world now. Thank you for all this information. But if you can use yourself sitting on your porch like I am, robbing Peter to pay Paul, wondering how we're going to pay the electric bill this month, wondering why everybody's got a fire, flood, or famine in the United States except for West Virginia right now, and you're still pissed off as hell that somebody that you don't know in a town that you've never been to has a Trump ban sign on their farm, you're the problem. You're exactly the problem. You need to search your heart and search your soul and figure out why you're so God-blessed hateful. There ain't no other term for it. You're hateful. You're hateful. You're a traitor and you're hateful. And I know you're going to come at me and be like, well, she's a Trumper. Hell yeah, I'm a Trumper. I voted for him 3 times. 3 times I voted for Donald J. Trump. 3 times. And twice, he won. Kind of like when you divorce your husband and then you start dating his best friend and he's an asshole and you're like, I really miss my ex-husband. That's what just happened in the United States of America. You's all pissed off at the powers that be. I don't like Trump. He's doing too much. He's being mean. He's saying grab him by the poo-tang. At least he said something and didn't trip up some damn stairs and say he liked ice cream, that he knew Jesus, he was a hell of a carpenter. If you thought George W. was full of the SNL lines, did you not pay attention to 4 years of Biden? Bumbling old Biden. And we had so much sympathy for his degenerating age that we just forget the fact that he's the reason we have student loans, and he's the reason we have capital gains, and he's the reason we're being taxed out the ass for everything, including our shoelaces. Thank you, former president, for that one. I didn't see any of y'all bitching about Biden like this. No, because he was a puppet, and he did exactly what he was told. Trump is not a puppet. He don't care what you think, at all. He's done decreased the workforce in Washington, D.C. by 22,000 people. People that didn't need to be doing that. People whose only job was to go get bagels 2 days a week. That's not a job. That's not a job. You're mad because he picked J.D. Vance, and he come from a family of drug addicts. Well, welcome to America. I bet you can't sit there and think about one person in your family that hasn't had some kind of a substance abuse problem, been in rehab, or even been in jail. Think real hard. Think real hard. But for 1 second you think that you can cancel somebody else's free commerce business because of their political leanings and you don't agree with them and so you're trying to down them, that's defamation of character and slander, and she should sue you for every bit of the dimes that you got left. You can't impose your shit on other people. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. All right? Advice from Corky Terry, cross-stitch it on a pillow. Somebody fetch me my knitting needles. This must be commemorated in thread. Y'all beat all over the hell I ever seen. We got shit going on in this country that you are so dumb to that you're too busy watching the CEO of Astronomer and his HR rep canoodling at the Coldplay concert than you were to pay attention that Trump just signed an anti-fentanyl bill into law. Having fentanyl is now a felony. Did you miss that while you was watching the couple canoodling? Look at the stars. They are a diversion for you. I don't know what's worse, getting caught cheating on your wife in the middle of a concert or the fact that you was at a Coldplay concert. What year are you in? Hell, you might as well get caught necking at a Nickelback concert. Who's going to these concerts? And more importantly, why are you taking your extraordinary fare? Quit doing it. Oh, I can take a breath all day long, Mom. I'm fixing to take about 17 of them. My mother's watching this morning, and if you've had a chance to watch her tiny trinket tour with Tammy Terry on my TikTok, that's a lot of T's. It's really fun to watch. And all of those all of those items, she will probably bargain with you if you want them real bad. She's a wheeler and a dealer above all else. But I'm glad my mother's watching, because she taught me everything I know about standing up for what I believe in and standing up for what's right and telling the people who are wrong that they are wrong so that they can see the light and not stumble over their own tumbling blocks. Now, I'm not saying I'm a perfect Christian. I'm not saying I'm a perfect American. I'm far from perfect in any respect of the word. I sing, I tell jokes, I smoke too many cigarettes, I say fuck too much to my mother's liking, and she has to apologize for me at church. I apologize for that. I don't apologize for what I say, nor the context of which I said it. I mean everything I say. Everything. And what I mean right now is that you're a traitor. You're a traitor. If you can stand flat-footed and put your hand over your heart and pledge allegiance to the United States of America and still hate the man that's flying the ship, you're the traitor. You're the Benedict Arnold. You ought to be tarred and feathered and thrown into whatever hole they got left for you down at Alcatraz. Because I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired of everybody having too big of a microphone. I've worked my whole life to have this big of a microphone. But yet you're going to give some 16-year-old who's never went to anything but homeschool, Greta Thunberg, or whatever her name is, you all are killing the planet. No, they're killing your brain cells, young, and pick up a book and learn it. But I tell you what, I encourage every single one of my fans and followers, my friends, my family, whoever it is that's watching this video, please get on Outskirts of Heaven Airbnb. Book you a weekend down there in Lexington, North Carolina. It's a gorgeous farm. They got a pool. They got peacocks. They got goats. You can play with chickens. It's agritourism at its finest. If you don't like our President Trump, probably going to make you mad because they have a little itty bit of tiny yard sign that says Trump Vance. With all the rainbow flags and the transgender flags and the NASCAR flags and the rebel flags, and you're going to get pissed off about the Donald Trump banner? The man who's running our country. The man who in the last 6 months has delivered every campaign promise that he made to us. That's what you're going to get mad at. We have everything we've ever wanted and the economy's getting better. I hate him. Y'all enough to make me start drinking again. I swear. I just want to know what the hell's wrong with y'all. I want to know what's so great in y'all's life that you're contributing to society, that you're the best at everything, that you can tell somebody else how to live their life. I want to know what you're doing with your life to make the world a better place. I want to know what your part in society is where you can tell anybody else what the hell to do with their money. Tell it. Floor is yours. What do you do that's so great? What do you do that's contributing to society that makes it better for mankind and your neighbors around you? What are you doing to get right with the Lord and make everybody follow along? What are you doing? What are you doing? Besides raising a big muckus over something that you ain't going to go do anyway. What are you doing? What are you doing? Here's your chance. What exactly are you contributing to the status quo other than just being a clanging cymbal or a loud bell? What are you doing? What are you doing? Because so far I ain't seeing nothing but a bunch of crybabies and snowflakes, and all I need to know is where we get a snow shovel this time of year. And I'm sorry that I'm tripping over my own words, but I'm just mad. I'm just mad about pure ignorance and waste. And that's all this is ignorance and waste. I hate waste. I realized the other day that I'm an archaeologist. I am a preserver of times past. I like to go into buildings and old houses and yard sales and estate sales and antique stores and be like, wonder what this was. I think this is so neat. Wonder what this was. It could be a back scratcher. It could be our hook. It could be, it could be an earring. It could be a plant. I want to know what this was, and I want to admire it, and I want to appreciate it, and I want to find out what its purpose was. That's my job when I go to junk stores. Never have I been like, I bet that plant hanger had a fern on it and somebody voted for Trump in that house. You realize how stupid that sounds, right? You realize even if you don't like the man sitting in office, hoping that he fails is going to crash the whole plane. You're still on the plane, right? You're on the plane. And just because oxygen has not filled the bag doesn't mean that it's not flowing. Put on your oxygen mask first before you help the neighbor beside you. The exits are here and here, okay? Y'all beat all over the hell I ever seen in my entire life. You're mad. You're mad. You're mad because you finally got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You're mad because the first time in your self-privileged, handout life, you have to work 20 hours a week to receive the benefits that you are asking for from the government. You're mad because for the first time in history, we're finally taking what's ours. Am I missing anything? No? Am I missing anything? Besides walls of water and volcanoes waking up and earthquakes in Russia and Alaska this week and the shockwaves being felt in New Madrid and the floods and fires and famines being all over the United States, let's get real good pissed off at an Airbnb in Lexington, North Carolina that you've never been to because they voted for Donald Trump, the current sitting president. God, you're stupid. I can't even insult you. You're too stupid to insult. I can't give you an insult like I want to with the vernacular that I have been afforded because you can't understand it. This is where being a Terry can really chap my ass because part of me wants to be my mother and say, listen, you probably just need to sit down and think about this because it's probably not doing the things that you want it to do and you're not saying the things that you need to be saying. And then my daddy comes out and be like, hell with all of them. They're all idiots. They're all idiots. I'm going to start smacking people in the mouth instead of trying to reason with them because that will friggin' stick. I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying somebody should take a switch and beat the tar out of you because you ain't got no reason. That's what I look at. I just read your comment, Rebecca. I just read that. I don't remember having a protest against Biden. I don't remember having a protest against Obama. I don't remember us having a big up in arms calling everybody a bunch of traitors because they voted for Biden. I remember Bernie Sanders running for a while and y'all had a bunch of stickers on your cars and that man's never taken off his overcoat and his mittens since I've known him. So you finally got somebody in there who's a businessman, again, knows how to fix this, again, brought in somebody younger to train for the next generation, again, and is running shit in Washington and the rest of the world. We've renamed all the stuff back to what it's supposed to be. We now have Fort Bragg again. We now have Fort Polk again. We now have Mount McKinley again. And we're going back to the Washington Redskins. So get real excited about it. And I'm submitting a letter to call perimenopause cougar puberty, and I won't be asking any questions. I'm just telling you all, I don't understand if y'all just need a big Valium or a joint or a drink or an ass whooping or something. But I can't figure out for the life of me why y'all are so good and mad and trying to cancel somebody else just for trying to make a buck in today's economy. She's opening up her home and her farm to other people so they can experience the miracle of nature and the creation of life on a little tiny farm in North Carolina. And y'all are all bent all out of shape over trying to cancel her. You want to cancel something, cancel The View. All they're doing is spouting bullshit and dividing everybody. You want to cancel something, cancel Katy Perry. She's an idiot and she's been to space twice and she's still not as smart as a space cadet. You want to cancel somebody? Cancel P. Diddy, who's walking the street after raping a bunch of women. You want to get mad about something? Get mad about the right things. I'm still pissed off that OJ walked free and he killed his wife. Yet he was still on ESPN calling the damn games. Y'all are weird about your loyalties. But before you start going after your neighbor who's just trying to make a buck in today's economy, look at your headlines a little bit. Start writing letters to people that can actually do something. Quit buying their stuff. Quit buying P. Diddy's albums. Quit watching OJ's games. Quit contributing to the problem. But I got on TikTok this morning and I have seen probably 70 videos of people like, well, I'm never staying at this Airbnb. Nobody asked you. Free will. That's why we have free will. Because if everybody did the same thing all the time, just because that was what they were supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why God gave us free will. Because if we were just born into this world and be like, well, I love God and I'm going to follow him, there's no choice there. There's no testimony there. There's no struggle there. There's no finding the light in the dark there. There is no victory there. Same thing with free will in America. You have the opportunity to make the right decisions. That's called free will. It's whether or not you make the right decisions that's going to make or break you. Okay? There's an episode of Andy Taylor, and I was watching this last night, and it stuck in my head. Opie came to his daddy, and he said, Daddy, I'm going to tell you something, but you can't get mad. He said, all right. And he said, somebody has broke Miss Foster's window with a baseball. And Andy said, was that somebody you? And he said, yes, sir, it was. He said, well, don't get mad at me, Ope, but you're not going to get an allowance till that window's paid for. He said, that's fair, Paul. And he went on and did his job making ice cream with Aunt B. And there was a young man that had been at the jailhouse. Of course, you know, they close the jail on Sunday, so everybody goes home with Andy to eat supper at Aunt B's. So He's sitting there with that criminal, and the criminal said, ain't you a little hard on Opie? And he said, well, if I bail him out this time, then the next time will be something bigger, and he's going to need my help. The next time it's going to be something bigger. He's going to have to learn to stand on his own 2 feet now. I'm going to have to raise that young and right. Sometimes you have to pay for your own window. And I got to thinking about that. We are so used to being like, I broke it. I'm out of money. I don't have health insurance or a cell phone. And I feel like Donald Trump is pulling an Andy Griffith here, and he's like, you're going to have to pay for your own window. Sorry. And a lot of people are looking at me on this podcast or Facebook or however else you want to look at it and going, well, I've never seen Andy Griffith. Well, that's your own fault. You probably never read the Bible neither, and you don't know who Jesus is. You're going to freak out when you find out that they killed a perfect man. Why are y'all trying so hard to impress a world that killed a perfect man? A perfect man. A man without sin. A man who just came here to love everybody else. They still killed him. What does that tell you about your ambitions and trying to get approval from everybody else? The world killed a perfect man. They don't give a damn about you. Nah. Everybody's asked me the other day, they said, you're going to run for office? They're going to dig up a bunch of stuff about you. I said, good. I ain't got nothing to hide. Everything that I've ever done wrong has been right here on Facebook. Some of y'all were the very culprits that outed me. Some of y'all were the very sons of bitches that stirred the pot and got me kicked out of a couple bars because of it. Some of you all need to realize that I know who you are. And just because I ain't said nothing don't mean that I don't know. But y'all sure as hell like to toot your own horn and tell everybody else how to live their life. But I'd love to get in your closet and see what kind of skeletons are waiting back there. Love it. My life's up on Facebook, and if you ain't got nothing to hide, you ain't got nothing to hide. And if you tell the truth, you ain't got to have a good memory. Yeah, I'm a big blowhard, and yeah, I tell a bunch of stories, and yeah, everybody always says that I'm over-exaggerating everything. Well, go back and look at the facts. Read the paper trail. Just because my life has been a lot more interesting and fascinating than yours has been doesn't mean that I'm a liar. I know that word likes to get thrown in my direction quite a bit, especially from people the closest to me. Whatever you want to know, I'm going to tell you. But if you don't want the truth, don't ask me. Because I'm at the point now where I don't give a shit about papering over it. I don't care about sugarcoating it. I don't care about buttering you up so I can give you some bad news. These are facts. These are things. Facts don't care about your feelings. These are the facts. This is how I presented them. You didn't like it. I don't care. That has nothing to do with me, and I'm not going to lose no sleep over it. You might. You might be like, well, I just can't believe Sarah Beth would say something like that. I just followed her for years. It has nothing to do with my artistry. Believe it or not, art is two different things. I hate Meryl Streep's political views. I don't care a thing about what she has to say on her private time. I will watch Mamma Mia if it's on TV. I will watch It's Complicated because it's one of my favorite Meryl Streep movies of all time. Doesn't mean I have to go with her to the voting booth. Don't mean I have to have coffee with her and talk about Biden. Don't mean that I have to wonder, where is Tom and Rita ever since all this came out? We're not friends. The art and the artist, two totally different things. Now, there's some people that don't like them as an artist, don't like them as, or their art. Now, that's just my personal preference. I mean, you don't have to not like them. You may love them. You may be their biggest fan and be sitting right there at Kroger Stadium watching them pick. I won't. That's free will. But I'm not going to get on my Facebook and try to cancel that artist because I don't like him. He's making his money. It got nothing to do with me. Don't ask me to go. I ain't going. Simple as that. Simple as that. But what pisses me off the most is that we're all about helping your neighbor and let's rebuild and America first. And then somebody from America says, hey, I'm going to open up an Airbnb. I also voted for Trump. Y'all come on down and see us. Oh, God, I can't go. I can't go. They got a Trump banner. Oh, I can't go. It's like being scalded with burning acid. One of my best friends my whole life died yesterday on his porch. 42 years old. Me and him got into everything from the time that we was big enough to be in first grade all the way through high school. And every time I come home, I try to say hi to him and his wife. Gone. And that's been really hard on my heart the past couple hours. Not probably as near as hard as it is on his wife and his family. But to know that we spend the majority of our time trying to prove our point to somebody else rather than just love them. To know that we spend the majority of our time standing on our soapbox, beating the hell out of a Bible, and preaching until the choir's blue. What for? That's 4 friends I've buried in the past month. 4. 4 under the age of 50 that I've buried in the past month from my hometown. Life is way too short for y'all to be this mad all the damn time. Life is too short for you to hate your neighbor because they disagree with you. Life is too short for you not to try to do everything you can to make it a little bit better before you get out. What's the point of it all? It's like Pete Holmes said, it's all a Leah. And so what's a Leah? A Leah is a term meaning that it's a dance, it's a joke. No one gets out alive anyway. No matter how many cigarettes you smoke, no matter how many laps you run, no matter how many marathons that you've done, no matter who you voted for, no matter how you pray, no matter where you come from, everybody dies. So it's really up to you. When you look at a tombstone and you see the date they were born and the date they died, no one's going to pay attention to my buddy Justin, 1983 to 2025. They are going to pay attention to the dash. What are you doing with the dash? What are you doing with that little tiny chisel in that stone that makes up all the years that you were here? What are you doing with the dash? Are you trying to cancel an Airbnb in North Carolina that you couldn't afford to go to anyway? Are you trying to upend the powers that be in Washington even though you don't have an address to send a letter? Are you trying to send money to Ukraine even though you can't find it on a map? Or are you searching your heart and talking to your Creator and praying for a better world and trying to be nice to the people around you because charity starts at home? What are you doing with the dash? You know, we finally got through the gauntlet of burying 16 to 35-year-olds because they've had a pill bottle shoved in their hand from the government and powers that be. And now we're starting to get into, like, real things that can kill you without you knowing it. Like car wrecks and cancer and heart attacks. And believe it or not, friends, it gets worse from here. So just wanting to know this morning, that's enough! Hollering all the time. What are you doing with your life to make that dash worth it? What are you doing? What are you contributing to the status quo to justify that dash? Are you fighting with your neighbor over politics? Or are you praying for your neighbor for peace? Are you arguing with your brother over dumb shit? Or are you loving him anyway? Are you mad at your neighbors for something that you have no control over? Or are you offering to help? You're either part of the solution or part of the problem. I can't control the way that you act. I can't control the things that you do. I cannot control the way that you react to my message, my music, my general presence on this earth. I can't control any of that. I can control how I react to it. I can control how my perception and my conveyance to the rest of the world goes. I can control that. And there's a prayer that has become my mantra for the past 2 years. And I always say, Calm my body, calm my mind, calm my spirit. Calm my body, calm my mind, calm my spirit. Calm my body, calm my mind, calm my spirit. Because I get so worked up that my blood pressure gets high, and then my heart starts racing, and my head gets hurting, and then I'm jittery, and I need a cigarette or something stronger to keep me off of the whipping post. Now, I know that about myself. It's something that I deal with. It's something that I try to control. Everybody's got a little bit of touch of crazy in their family. In the South, they don't ask which side it's on. Or ask if you got crazy. We just ask which side it's on. Mine is on both. And we don't hide them up in the attic. We bring them right on the front porch and show them off. So, I have to make my decisions very carefully because everything I do affects everything around me. If you've ever thrown a rock in a pond, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's called the ripple effect. Everything you do has an effect somewhere else. So I can't help but thinking that all this negative energy and all this horse shit and all these protests and all this bullshit that all happened. Have you noticed that ever since that protest, the volcanoes are going off, the earthquakes are going off, the floods and famines are going off, the fires are going off? Don't you think maybe putting that much negative energy into the world was going to have some backlash on your ass? It's like a lot of you all that stir the pot. Y'all don't have to lick the spoon after you stir that pot. And I'm looking at you can't put that much negative energy into the world in an organized fashion and not expect some kind of repercussion from Mother Nature. She's pissed. She's pissed. She's saying, oh my God, if Father Time don't get you, then I will. Quit it. It's like Trump said, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So you can't put that much negative energy into the world and not expect some kind of adverse consequence for it. So my suggestion is to put love into the atmosphere. Put love into the universe. Love your neighbors. Love your friends. Love animals and dogs and old people and people that disagree with you and people that you don't necessarily get along with. Love them. Love them. Negativity is the most contagious thing in the world besides love. Love catches on quick. When me and Sean started dating and our stuff was public on Facebook all the time, people came to our shows just to see if we was making it up. We really love each other that much. And you can see that, and you can feel that, and you're around that, then you start to feel that love too. I smell tomatoes. Which one of y'all's in my damn garden? Anyway, I love my chickens. I just wish that they wouldn't eat my tomatoes. And they've ate all my peppers. And now I have ducks in the bathtub. We're not going to talk about it. We got to find a place to put the ducks because right now they're in the bathtub. But anyway. My heart's heavy this morning. Because I look at the big picture and I'm like, what the hell are we all fighting for? What could we possibly have to disagree about in the United States of America? What can we possibly be so pissed off about that we don't appreciate the freedoms that our men and women have fought to protect? I'm sitting on my porch on a Monday at 11:30 smoking a cigarette in my pajamas. I don't know any other country I could do that in. Even when I lived in Italy, I had to be up at 7 a.m. I had to clock in. I had to do what they told me to because it was their country. I don't know anybody else that has the life that we have in this country and still mad as hell about it. My wallet's too small for my 50s and my diamond shoes are too tight. But it just chapped my ass that somebody has the dream that I'm working towards, opening up their farm of agritourism. People come and pet goats and gather eggs and swim in the pool and get to know nature and get to know North Carolina. That is a brilliant idea, and it is the dream. And because she had one out of the thousands of things in her on her farm, one little tiny Trump Vance sign, y'all are losing y'all's mind. What if we had taken a crowbar to every single car that had a Biden sticker on it? Wouldn't we have gotten in trouble? What if we had rode the police cars when Obama made it? I think they would have had something to say about that. What if we had burned a bunch of couches in the street like UK just won a game when George W. Bush got into office? Y'all are acting nuts. Y'all are acting like you need to be on some kind of psych eval and about 40 milligrams of Valium a day. No one gives a damn about you. Not really. They give a damn about you long enough to see you, to talk to you. You're in their mind for a few minutes, and then they're going on about their own day. They got their own shit to take care of. But you're missing the forest for the trees with things like the Coldplay affair and things like this Airbnb getting canceled, and you're missing the point. You're missing what's actually happening. You're missing that Korea said they're ready to freaking strike us down. You're missing the point where Russia said, we're coming after you. You missed the point where Israel's still bombing everybody else. You're missing the point where Trump signed an anti-fentanyl bill that makes it a felony now. You're missing all the big stuff because you're too busy watching the previews of the movie. I was reading in Book of Luke yesterday. When they questioned Jesus, he started doing his miracles. They said, why don't you ever do anything in your hometown? Why don't you ever do anything around here? He said, because a prophet is never appreciated in their hometown. From the mouth of God. And I thought, no truer words, Lord. You'll never be received in your own hometown. But my new favorite verse this week is John 4:12, which is Jesus looking at somebody and saying, woman, this is not my problem. My time has not yet come. That's my new favorite Bible verse of the week, in case you're keeping up. I know a lot of people say, she can't talk like that and have God in her heart. Yeah, I can. Just because the devil's got my tongue don't mean the Lord don't have my heart. I'm mad. I'm mad. And if you've ever read Paul's letters to the churches, he was mad too. A lot of y'all want to think that everything was hopey and feely and we were all worshiping God and praising on the mountain back in the old days. There was war. There was war over this. They killed everybody that knew Jesus, okay? There was war over this. There's been holy wars since the dawn of time. The very first king of Israel was a piece of shit. Started a war. The first 4 people on the earth, one of them was a murderer. Cain was born and said, I hate exactly 25% of the people on this earth and I'm going to kill one of them. 1 in 3 people was a murderer. Since the beginning of time, 1 in 3 people was a murderer. That's worse freaking statistics than Alcatraz, Guantanamo, and Three Forks put together. So if you think it's always been hopey feely and everybody's been getting along and loving God this whole time, you're reading a different Bible. There's always been disagreement. There's always been war. There's always been disgruntledness. The thing is that what are you going to do to help it? Are you going to pick up a sword and start fighting too, or are you going to pray? Are you going to pick on your neighbor over something that they disagree with, or are you going to get together and have supper and break bread with them? Are you going to walk with God, or are you going to oppose him? You have a choice. There's a highway to hell. There's a straight and narrow to heaven. Figure it out. And I'm not saying that I'll be right there on the front row when we all get to the pearly gates. Lord knows I've got enough to answer for, and it's all been on Facebook thanks to viewers like y'all for the last 20 years. But I know God, and I talk to him every single day. I don't call myself a Christian. I call myself God-like. I don't want to be like Christians. Christians are rude. Christians are greedy. Christians literally will send you a piece of paper in the mail that says you ain't tithed in 2 weeks, and we're going to take you off the membership. Cave Run, I'm looking, or not Cave Run, but Cave City, I'm looking in your direction. Cave City Baptist sent out a bunch of letters about 5-6 years ago that said, you haven't tithed in a while, and we're going to take you off the member chart. That's why I ain't a Christian. I follow God. I follow the Lord. And I do what he tells me to do, and he's the only one I'm scared of besides my daddy. I am not going to bow down to a preacher. I am not going to contribute 25% of my yearly income so that you can drive a new Cadillac on Sunday mornings. I am not going to contribute to the falsehood that is organized religion. Now, I will pray over my neighbors. I will love you the best way that I know how, and I will gather wherever I find the Lord. Wherever 2 or more are gathered, there the Lord shall be. So, I'm looking at it from that perspective of, if you want to be a Christian, you have to follow God. You can't follow Christians, because Christians aren't perfect either. And what really bothers me is all the holier-than-thou self-righteous people that like to get behind the veil of Jesus and then bash everybody else. You got plenty of people out there that can preach the word of God, and in the end days, even your sons and daughters will prophesy. Guess that the Baptists missed that memo. I forgot that the 11th commandment is, and you should also pay to keep the lights on, that way that the preacher can drive a new Cadillac. That's the part I disagree with. I disagree with people like Joel Osteen. I used to like Joel Osteen until Houston flooded and he shut the doors of his church and wouldn't let anybody in for sanctuary. What if they get the seats dirty? What if they get mud on the carpets? What if they eat all of our donuts that we have for Sunday morning coffee hour? That's why there's a light on in my house all the time. There used to be candles in the windows of old people's houses. You remember that? Everybody always used to bring them out at Christmas time. My granny always kept candles in the window all the time. And I know that that's an old Appalachian tradition. If you saw a candle in the window, then you could get help at that house. If you were stuck on the side of the road, if you'd hit a deer, if you were starving, if you were lost, if you were nowhere in this world that you could find a place to lay your head. If you saw a candle in the window, that was a safe harbor. Where's your candle? All these people saying, well, would you let an immigrant family hide in your attic? No. I wouldn't let an American family hide in my attic either. Hiding's another thing. Now, if you're seeking refuge and you're seeking a place of rest and you need a hot meal and somebody to pray over you, my porch is open. I got a candle in the window. But do not for one moment mistake my generosity and kindness for weakness. I know this one wasn't necessarily funny today as more as just a sermon, but at the same time, I'm looking at it going, have y'all got nothing better to do than to try to down somebody else's business in a state that you've never been to because they have a political affiliation that you disagree with? You realize what kind of sense that makes, right? None. Zero. So friends, whatever you're doing today, I encourage you to think about the dash. Think about that little dash between the year you were born and the year you're going to die. That little bitty dash on that tombstone one day. What are you doing with the dash? What are you doing with it? Are you causing turmoil? Are you hating your neighbor? Got a cardinal visiting. What are you doing with your dash? I'll tell you what I'm doing with mine. I'm going to go over and check and see on my neighbors because their porch light was on at 3 o'clock this morning, and that worries me that something might be wrong, so I'm going to go over and check and see if I need to make some food, casserole, cheese ball. I'm going to check on my neighbors and thank them kindly for watching our chickens while we were gone the last couple of days. I'm going to wander down the street and visit with a couple of my neighbors that I saw on the prayer list. No, the dishes probably won't get done, and yeah, I still need to fold a load of laundry. It'll keep. I'm working on the dash. So anyway, that's your sermon this morning from the hill. Figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of the week because it's just Monday. And I got a lot of work to do, including putting up nesting boxes and cleaning out a brooder because it got wet yesterday. So my mission to y'all this week is to focus on the dash. Figure out what you're doing. Figure out what you're doing to make that one little piece of chisel mark worth it. In the meantime, friends, keep your Bibles open and your powder dry and your head on a swivel because people are nuts these days. Love your neighbor. Don't say a thing about liking them. Be kind to old people, children, and animals. And I love you, friends. I can't do nothing about that. I've tried. I may not like you all the time. I may not agree with you all the time, but I do love you, and I appreciate you hanging out with me. Work on the dash. That's our mission this week. And always, friends, remember, I'm Sarah Beth Terry, and you're not. Bye.